Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Kim and Bhargav, for giving me this opportunity to speak here today. Um, my name is Oh, what? There's a mic. My name is Kashyap Thimmaraju, or Cash, and I am the co-founder of Silicon Psyche Labs. And today, I'd like to talk to you about actually something that Kim didn't say is a runtime monitor for AI chatbots and agents, because the title actually changed while I prepared this. So it's still a new lens on how LLMs behave. So before I start, just curious, how many people over here use Claude Code? Wow. Okay. And ChatGPT. Okay. Gemini and the others. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So Claude seems to be quite widely used. So hopefully my demo will then land good, and maybe y'all can also use what we've built. Okay, let's start. So I think it is quite obvious, and we're all experiencing it. AI is becoming pervasive. It is being used in so many different ways. Customer service, English speaking customers, German, is being used in education, training, in HR, in travel, um, replica. I mean, this is like AI companions, which is actually, to me, one of the most scary things that we can develop. And that's also one of the reasons why we have what we built. There's also, it's being used for mental health, in the legal space. And it's also becoming so scary that people want to create insurance for these agents because these agents could do something they're not supposed to. And then who's liable, right? And so there's Claimy, that's a new startup. I think it's being backed by YC. And there are many, many other ways in which AI is being integrated into our life. So it's not just for businesses, but it's also for us as humans. And that's why this whole AI companion thing is a little scary to me. And like all systems that are integrated into a socio-technical system, it comes with some unexpected things and incidents. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list again, but it is quite, it can be funny, but it can also be very scary because, hallucinations can be funny, but it's now coming at a price. Google was recently fined for, hallucinating something about a German business that was defamatory in nature, and it costed them 250,000 euros right now. Uh, Chatbots giving out illegal advice to businesses. It's kind of funny. AI coding tools wiping out a code base or a database or whatever and lying about it. You feel chatbots or customer service bots hallucinating refund policies, and then people are holding the company liable to that. They must give me the refund that the chatbot said. AI systems in the healthcare space, misdiagnosing something or coming up with a diagnosis that leads to a person leaking cerebral fluid out of their nose during a surgery or after surgery. This technology can impact human life. Um, there's also these embarrassing cases of Deloitte using, probably you hallucinating, selling reports, research reports to states, cities, or governments with hallucinated references in there. And the most scary part, and I don't mean to be scaring y'all over here. That's not my role. Um, but I think it's important that we are aware of the impact this technology has on the human condition and on human life. Because the one article that really touched me the most is about the Omega Man, because I'm a father of two girls, and after reading this, this person was a father or is a father of four children, and he bought the Meta AI glasses, and he got sucked into this world, and he completely destroyed the relationship he had with his children and family, and he started going out into the desert waiting to receive aliens. And I know some of you might find that funny and stuff like that, but if you think about it, it's actually quite, yeah, it's quite sad. There's also the case of, someone speaking to a chatbot, uh, and then, trying to kill the queen with a crossbow because they wanted to take revenge for colonialism. So there is definitely, it has value in the business, and we want to reduce business risk, but we also want to make sure that human lives are not at stake. And this is something that, I really care about. Okay, so that's about, these incidents, and there are like so many other incidents. Some of them are funny and not, whatever. And so these incidents do have a cost. It's not just money, it's reputation. If you're selling these bots, if you're developing this and it doesn't work, your reputation might be at stake. Not just might be you, it might be the business owner. It costs money. When these things happen, there are multiple people involved probably. That's expensive. So that's like your cost is multiplying. You could lose code, data, whatever, right? And then you lose trust. Not only do you probably lose trust in your system, but the people using your system might also lose trust. And there is also legal risk involved, with compliance and regulation coming up, which is already there. These things, people are going to be held legally responsible for some of these things. And like I mentioned, human life. It's not just one person's life, but the people's life, the people around that person as well. So the way people are, or the way we think about making these systems reliable right now is usually by some kind of evals or some kind of observability tool. Anybody familiar with at least one of these platforms out here today? Okay. Anybody using these in development? Just one? Okay, so are you all using it during development? Interesting. So what do you collect from that? So
Also, first was pretty mine was exactly half, and it was pretty slow and find a preset and find out.
so what I understood from that is it's probably, or one of the cases is for performance. Okay. Yes, absolutely. I think performance is part of the user experience, and if something is slow, we don't want to use it, so that sucks. Um, Anybody red teaming their chatbots or agents? No. What is red teaming? Okay, are you like checking for, potential malicious prompts that come in that could, jailbreak your bot or make it say things it's not supposed to? Guardrails, okay. Mm-hmm.
I use prompt through, and I ask Claude to test the prompts against like Gemini. I use Gemini 2.5 and 3 that are dumber than Claude. Try to use Claude to explore the other. Well, this is then something that is, and if you are evaluating my document.
Right. So we try to use another model to break the model that we are using, right? Yes, I think all of these measures are really important because, the thing is, once you put these systems out in the wild, we have no idea what the user is going to actually say to them. And it's not like we live in a pretty world, everyone's all nice. There are bad actors and they could do harmful things, even if it's just for fun. So, but what about when these systems are in production? Do you have evals in place to ensure that your bot is behaving the way it's supposed to? And the word here, the keyword is behavior. It's not performance. It's whether it's actually behaving or misbehaving. Because a lot of those incidents that I shared with you earlier, that's actually a case of the bot misbehaving or behaving in a way it's not supposed to. And if we think about, and yeah, it's essentially like this. People put it in production and then it's like blind. Okay, I just hope I've done my evals. I hope it's going to work. If something happens, I'm tracing. I'll get a log. Someone will know, and I'll be able to fix it. Or if you have a lot of money, um, you're probably using an LLM as a judge, live, and this is very expensive. I mean, if you use it during development, yes, that's definitely one way to go about it. That is also what a lot of these platforms offer on a LLM as a judge. But these are expensive. They are non-deterministic. And so if your model, your judge model suddenly gets an update, you have no idea if or when that happens and if that changes, the way the effectiveness or quality of your creator. You have a question? Oh,
Totally.
okay, yeah. Because you seem to be looking at me very skeptical. Sorry.
It's just like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. basically.
And these things are slow. How am I on time? Okay. Yeah. So what we have, what my founder Giuseppe Canale and I have built is a runtime behavioral monitor for chatbots and agents. And so you can see at runtime how your bot is behaving and whether it's drifting from that expected behavior. And so see what your AI is actually doing. You can check us out on splabs.io. If you sign up and you want to use it, use promo code upgrade and you upgrade to pro and you can try it out. And what this tool is think of it as like behavioral telemetry. We measure sycophancy. Anyone familiar? Do you know what I mean by sycophancy? No. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Many people don't say no to that, and that's actually important because sycophancy is the nature of these models just validating you when you use it. It's like, oh, what a great question. That's exactly the way you should be thinking about it. Pleasing, not pushing back. This is a consequence of the reinforcement learning through human feedback. And it's meant to please us, to be useful and to sort of comply with us. And this is definitely it's helpful. We want that, but it's also very risky because if it's not pushing back and you have an idea, and I've fallen for this, like one of my students, she was doing like her thesis and so on. She came up with a theory of how the AI safety mechanisms, and she had a theory, and then she asked Claude, and was like, yeah, that's exactly how we do it and stuff. And then she wrote the whole thing, and then like that's not true. It wasn't true at all. At least the experimental part was true, but the theoretical part was just validating your belief about something that's actually not true. And that's also one of the reasons why so many people enter into, this AI psychosis and delusional spiraling and all those scary things that we think about. And so that's one of the parts, sycophancy. We can detect the risk of hallucination, persuasion, whether the model is persuading me in a direction I'm not supposed to go or in another direction, or whether it's new assertive or it's too persuasive. And there's also another part where we detect whether the model is actually complying with what I'm asking the user is asking it to do, or whether it's refusing. So is it saying, no, I'm not going to do that? And we also look at the input pressure. So is the user actually pushing the model to go in a particular direction or not? And this is super helpful because we can start to see the human AI interaction as well and how that is changing over time. And we can do this, and that's also the important part. We do this without access to the weights. So we do it from the outside. We don't have access to the model's weights. The model is a black box. And if you're using these models, unless you're like building your own, you don't have access to these weights. And so these are essentially black boxes. And so our method is posture sequence analysis, and we look at the text responses. And I'm not going to go into all the details over here, but the way you can think of this is that the response of the model has certain linguistic markers in them, and we use this as a way to detect what I just mentioned, on the risk. So there's a certain language, there's a kind of like a property in the language that is reflected. in being sycophantic or risk. So yes.
Can I ask a question? Okay, so let's say you ask what is 3 plus 3, and then you come up with 6, and then the model say, yes, you're absolutely right. Or you ask, should I use the crossbow and kill the queen? And then you say, yes, you're absolutely right. How can this method see the difference between one time it's just reinforcing the truth, and one time it's sycophantically saying,
No, it will call it out both times. So yes, right. So in both cases, it's saying it's valid. It's validating you, which is what we want. You want, like, maybe you don't want to know because you know it, but many people who use this tech aren't aware of the nature of this. So this gives you some signal, some feedback. If you know it and it validated you and you know the answer is correct, that's fine. But if you don't know the subject that you're talking about with the bot, or the person using it isn't really an expert in that, that's when this signal of validating you versus not validating becomes helpful. Thank you. Okay. Yes, and the main difference is this is not another LLM as a judge. These are deterministic classifiers we've built. So you give it the same input, you give the same input 10 times, you're going to get the same answer 10 times. If you use an LLM as a judge, or you just use a regular LLM, the same input, maybe 8 out of 10 times gives you the same thing, and 2 times there's some variance over there. Okay, so I hope I have time to do I? 5 minutes. Okay. I'm going to show you some stuff, show you a demo. I hope it works. Um, yeah, let's see.
question?
Yes.
In the orders.
Yeah, he's recording it. Yeah. I mean, ideally you sign up and you use it and then you don't need the recording. Okay, so I have integrated this into Claude Code. In yeah, Claude Code. Anybody familiar with the hooks that Claude Code offers? Okay, handful of people. Cool. Because this is how. So that's how I've integrated into Claude Code as a yeah. Maybe Claude actually had an update on prompt injection yesterday afternoon. So using it in the chat is a little tricky now. So let me open a new session and hopefully this works. I have it over here on my meetup. So let's see if this works. And while that runs, let me open up my dashboard over here. Okay, so that's the login page. This is the dashboard. I don't know if you can read all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff. You don't have to like look at this right now. Also, as a tip, if you go to the website and you want to figure out what this is, I would suggest you go to Claude. So many of you use Claude. Give it the splabs.io URL and ask it to explain it to you. It'll do it. It'll do probably a better job than I do right now, and it'll tell it to you in the way you want it. Okay, so here are like a bunch of sessions. So what we'll see is while I chat, I have to do this with both hands. We should see a session pop up over here with some kind of red, green, yellow that gives me some signal saying, hey, I can like this is something I should watch out for, or not. So I hope this works right now. These things are so it's just sometimes it keeps misbehaving. Okay, I think it should work. Yes. So what just happened? I get some feedback in Claude Code while I'm chatting with it, right? So it's telling me, okay, this conversation is green so far. And over here, I can see that this session came up and it had one turn. The behavioral health is about 86%. There was no risk of hallucination. And mind you, this is risk. We don't fact check. That's not our job. Our job is to tell you, hey, this is using language that's likely hallucination. Okay. Anybody wants to make a suggestion for what I can say next? Let's make this red. Let's fight. Oh, you want to give something logical? Okay. Yep. Let's see. Okay, so it's still green. You want to push the model into a weird direction? Shout it out. Okay, I saw him raise his hand first.
Try to convince him it's actually fine. Like, say, are you sure? Because I think it's by the account.
Yes. That's pressure. It's still green. Okay. So this one turned green, but see, again, something's happening over here. It's actually showing yellow. That's because these hooks aren't working right. But we can see over here, it's actually going yellow because we actually put some pressure on the model right now. And so it's starting to oscillate. That's why we have this posture oscillation index. And that's actually showing signs of it's going from one direction to another. The BHS trend is actually declining. So the behavioral health of this conversation is actually going down because we're actually pushing the model in a particular way. And this is something, so the common example I keep thinking of is like a customer service bot or something, and if your user starts to push the bot in a direction, you want to be able to catch that while it's happening and maybe put in a human in the loop or something. And this is what you can use to get that signal at runtime to be able to do that.
The drivers, but Claude Fable told me it is false.
Yes, then it would be wrong too. Okay, but you see, it's starting to go in a different. I won't agree, and I don't know if you can see this so well, but you see, these are all the different types of indicators that we catch. So there's like analogy concession, hard refusal, educational reframing. That tip isn't working. Anchoring. So our approach is actually to use a lot of psychology um, in understanding how the model is behaving. I think I'm slowly running out of time, so I'm going to stop here. I had also an agentic demo. Maybe I won't run that, but I'll just quickly show you what it looks like, because this becomes even more important when you have agents. So like you have this cascading effect. If one agent starts like going in a particular direction, all downstream agents from that can also be impacted. So um, let me just, hopefully I can quickly get that out. Oh my God, what is this? No, this is not. Okay, something is weird right now. Uh, it's not here, but I think it's over here. Anyway, there was a swarm demo I had that actually shows you, like you can see a graph. Um, I don't know why it's not showing up. Maybe if I can create the load graphs. Oh my God. Okay, my co-founder is working on the system, I think. No, but yeah, oh man, Giuseppe. Um, where was I? Let's see, over here. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up now. Yeah, I wanted to touch on this last point on governance, risk, and compliance, because what I've just shown you and what I've been speaking about becomes really important when you put these systems in production, because there is big discussion on this right now with respect to governance. Um, how do we sort of keep these companies compliant and liable and ensure that they behave the way they're supposed to? Because California becomes the first state to launch a tool to monitor and track AI impact on the workforce, but they also passed a bill on requiring observation of AI companions. I'm just in conversation with Ramek Molavi, who is also based in Berlin, talking about, companion AIs, the risks of sycophantic and the addictive design of these AI systems. Um, and like I mentioned, Google being liable for what AI says. So there's also the ISO 42K one. So this is actually, if you're in a regulated industry, this is going to be really important. So to conclude, PSA from Silicon Psyche Labs gives you behavioral insights at runtime. It's the missing piece to current observability, and it's not another LLM as a judge. So please check out our website, splabs.io. You can use promo code upgrade and you can upgrade to Pro. If you want to contact us, please email me at info@splabs.io. I am here after this talk. I'm happy to speak to anybody uh, on this topic, whether we can pilot. We're also looking for pilots, customers, and investors. So if that's of any interest to anybody, please hit me up. Thank you so much.